Good afternoon. This is update number 3 at the conclusion of week 2 of treatments. It's August 16th, 2024, and just getting to this update now as normally I'm going to try to do these Thursday evenings after I'm done with treatments for the week, but Abby and Mary got in town to move Abby into her first college apartment, so things were a little hectic last night. So anyway, this video might be a little longer than normal. There's a lot of really interesting stuff that happened this week. So I'll start with one of the treatments that most people will tell you is kind of the most grueling out of the whole bunch is what they call NMR, which stands for neuromuscular reeducation, and it involves having a bunch of electrical stimulation pads put on various parts of your body, and then taking increasing levels of stimulation. And at first, during the sessions, it's all about, they put a stimulation pad on a wet towel behind your neck, and then they put the other pads on the bottoms of my feet, and so we're pretty much sending that stimulation from at the base of my brain, I guess, or at the top of my nervous system, if you will, and sending that signal down to where my feet are. And for the longest time, I don't feel anything down there on my feet. Like, they keep amping up the stimulation, and I feel it really, really, really stimulated on the neck, but up until the end of this week, I started actually feeling sensation on the soles of my feet, and that's something that I haven't felt anything on my feet other than nerve pain for a very long time. And so we're starting to, that's indicative of starting to make a breakthrough, starting to get the signal to kind of flow through the whole length of my body. But the reason it's kind of notorious here is the stimulation levels go up to 100, and it's all about trying to get up to 100 and to be able to tolerate it, and that just kind of sets you, gets you accustomed to stimulation, which is part of a later therapy. But anyway, so like my first time I did this treatment, I only got to a 9.6, and that seemed really low because I thought I could tolerate more than that. But the next day I got to 20, and then I only got to 24, and the next day I got to 50, I think it was, and then I got to 79, I think it was, and yesterday I finally hit 100, which is a milestone. And so I'm told from talking to a lot of the people I've met that that's darn near record time, getting to 100 from the start of your treatment. So I have nothing to compare it to, but I took it as a compliment in terms of being able to take that stimulation, but it was the upper ends of that stimulation that I started to feel sensation in my feet again. So that's a good step in the right direction. The other part that they do during that therapy is it's similar. They put the stimulation electrical pads or whatever it is. It's not actually electricity, but it's the stimulation pads go on strategic parts of your body. So I'll have them on my feet, and then I have usually some on my lower back, and then they take another electrical thing and they start like kind of working it all up and down your legs and your back and your thighs, and you're looking for where the stimulation, like all of a sudden you'll be like, holy crap. Like it'll be like you'll feel nothing, and then you'll like almost want to jump to the moon. And so that's them trying to triangulate where your hot spots are, as they call them. So once you find a hot spot, then you do different range of motion exercises while you're getting the stimulation, and you have to do everything while you're being stimulated. You have to really focus on performing the motion exactly the way that it should be done. So because it's when you're getting stimulated and you're doing the motion, you're kind of retraining the brain. This is how this particular activity or motion is supposed to be done. And so they do this hot spot exercise for usually 4 days in a row to make sure that that they're consistently getting the same hot spot. Because once we determine the hot spot, that's where we can really focus our attention in trying to break through that. I'll call it a blockage. I don't know if that's a good terminology or not, but it's the thing that's interrupting a proper pain signal, or I guess maybe just a sensation signal, from all throughout your nervous system. So I've only got up to about 27 in terms of getting up to 100 doing the hot spot exercise, because that's a whole nother level of. It's one thing to get to 100 on the first phase of NMR, but the second part is even harder. And pardon me, phone slipped. So it's a grueling. It's literally the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do physically. The amount of stimulation, like you think you're gonna literally levitate off the table, and you have to, you're trying so hard to mentally block out the stimulation so that you can take higher levels of it, but you're also having to focus, like keep your knees in, keep your feet straight, keep your shoulders down, keep your chest out, all these different things, and the therapists are really good at kind of keeping you on track. I mean, they're watching every little nuance of your posture, your position, how you're doing the motion, and they've really got it down to a good science. So that was a pretty good milestone, getting to the 100, and then also now starting on this hotspot location part of the exercise. The other thing I want to share is something that was, two things. Number one, and I don't know what they look for exactly in this, but there's a special treatment that they call CERSET, and it's spelled CERSET, and I'm told that it basically stands for cerebral reset. And so it helps to basically balance the left and right side of the brain so that they're, I guess, functioning with equal capacity or function. I still have a bunch of questions, and I'm going to be doing that next week. So I'll hopefully be able to share more at the end of next week about that, because I only know the tip of the iceberg on that one. But I'm told that it's really good to do this early in your treatment, and so they wanted me to do this this upcoming week. The interesting thing about doing CERSET is that when you do it, whatever week you do it, I'll do it every day, and that's the only therapy that I can have that week. Like no other things interfering with, stimulation or any of the other things. So next week I'll literally just be going and getting one hour treatment of CERSET, and that's my day. And so next week's going to be, and it's a pretty relaxing exercise. So as I understand it, they put I guess brain sensors or something all over your scalp, so they're reading your brain signals, and you have a pair of headphones on, and they're piping in different tonal qualities or sounds of different frequencies or whatever you want to call it into each ear differently. And it's basically, again, its goal is to kind of balance and kind of reset the way the right and left half of the brain function. So it sounds interesting. It doesn't sound difficult. I'm told it's pretty actually enjoyable, fairly easy thing to go through. And then we'll pick back up with my normal routine of therapy next week, or the week after rather. The other interesting thing is that so earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week, I had a blood panel drawn, and the results came back, and I sat down with the doctor and we reviewed it, and a couple of very interesting things came out of that. And so one of them is kind of a food allergy thing. They look at, you know, what foods you should avoid and things like that. And it's on a scale of 0 to 4, 4 being like, you know, probably kill you or something like that. I had nothing above a 1, and every 1 that I had on the list is something I don't really ever eat anyway. So that was the good news, is there's no foods that I necessarily need to avoid. But the other part that the doctor said, and it was one of the first things she said, and it almost bowled me over. So she asked me the question, why am I taking atorvastatin, which is one of the maintenance drugs I take for cholesterol. And I've been taking that drug since my early 30s. So like, you know what, almost 20, 30 years. And, you know, I was just like, you know, when I had a checkup when I was in my 30s, they said you got high cholesterol, here, take this. And I've just been taking it. And stupid me, I've just never questioned it or challenged it or asked, you know, hey, maybe I don't need to take this anymore. And according to the doctor that I was reviewing this with, she said that that she has seen over and over and over again. So they've had thousands of patients come through that clinic, and she's the only one that, you know, this is all she does, is she interprets all the blood work and things. And she said that she has seen a high percentage of patients that have CRPS, and when you take them off of the atorvastatin and you put them on a supplement, and I believe it's called CoQ10. I've never heard of it before. It's like some all-natural substance or something. I'm not sure. But when you do those two simple things, that literally all your CRPS symptoms just vanish. It's not a guarantee, but she said that she's seen it happen an awful lot. And so she's like, if I'm right, she's like, you're going to get really upset and angry that you have spent the last 6 years of your life in really, really bad pain and dealing with all of this, when it was literally a simple fix like this. So I'm not sure if that's all to say that, like, I don't really have CRPS, I just have CRPS-like symptoms as a result of the atorvastatin, or, you know, the combination of other things I'm taking, or if it's just that getting off the atorvastatin and onto the CoQ10, that just cures the CRPS in some people. So I was blown away by that just even the thought that could happen. And maybe it won't, but it's something we're trying. So I'm getting off the atorvastatin for the time being, and I've got a number of supplements, including the CoQ10, are being shipped here to the hotel I'm staying at, and so I will start taking that soon. And we're gonna do another blood panel in a month, and we're gonna start to track this puppy and see if there's something to this, at least for me. But she said she's seen it over and over and over again, how many people like have all their pain and CRPS symptoms just vanish with those two simple changes. So I'm excited. I may be let down by it, or get excited for no reason, but that was probably the biggest news nugget out of the week. And so now I'm like totally fixated on the notion that I could have this thing just wiped out in no time at all. So we'll see how that progresses, as the treatments will still go on in the meantime. So either that cures me, or this atorvastatin CoQ10 thing cures me, hopefully. So but there's really something, just on another note, there's something really special about what's going on here. I mean, I've only been here 2 weeks, and I've seen people that could barely walk without the use of crutches when I got here, and in just the 2 weeks I've been here, like there's this lady from France, and she's really nice, and I mean, she's walking, deliberately. She's not like flying around, but she's walking without the crutches, and she's walking with real good form and everything, which is something I'm also working on, to start walking with better form, instead of gimping around like I have been for so long. But I can see, even in 2 weeks, I can see the improvement these people are making. And you have conversations with them, and they you share stories and stuff, and it's amazing. Like there's another young woman, I don't know, she might be somewhere in the 18 to 20 year old range, and she's set to graduate from here next week, and they always make a big kind of deal out of that. And I was talking to her yesterday in the lobby, and she's been here, I think she said 16 weeks, and she came in on a wheelchair, and I mean, she's zipping around. She has, I mean, you couldn't tell her from any other person walking down the street. Her pain is gone, and she's getting ready to move on with her life. And there's just multitudes of stories like that. You see people that are improving, kind of right before your eyes, or you hear their stories, and everybody lifts each other up, and really kind of pats each other on the back, helps each other out. Everybody's, it's such a popular, and not popular, but it's not the word I'm looking for. There's just a really good energy and vibe around that, and that's not kind of the language I usually use. I've never been kind of into like the I don't know what you'd say. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I really, my confidence level that I'm going to be cured and have this thing go into remission is continuing to increase the more I see the things that are going on around me, and that fills you with, continues to kind of fill your bucket of hope and faith that you have. And some of the stories are just unbelievable, and everybody's patting each other on the back and high-fiving, and when they reach certain milestones and stuff, like when I hit 100 yesterday, people were like giving me high fives and stuff, and it's just it's really good here. I think this is the place I belong, and so just gonna keep at it. As they say here, just even as crazy as some of the things sound, it's the motto: trust in the process. Like, all these things are just pieces to a puzzle, and they all kind of work off of each other, and there's different therapists doing different specific treatments, and when it all comes together over time, and your body starts to behave the way it's supposed to, that's when you start to get the healing and the pain relief. So I don't know when that will actually happen for me. Technically it might not happen for me, but from everything I've seen here, my hopes are high. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I know it's rather long, but I will give you another update at the end of next week. That'll be at the end of my Cereset treatments. I'm sure that'll be pretty interesting, and I'm hoping to learn a good bit about how that all comes together and fits in with the rest of the other treatments. So hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.